Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tales from the Occult. Before you say anything, to clarify, I know last week I said I'd have another guest host. That was kind of false. I was actually going to be inviting somebody back to actually be a permanent member of the Tales from the Occult family, but sadly, she could not make it to the recording today, so I'm doing this. I mean, I can't really do much else because, like, I had to rewrite a script for this because I had it planned for two people. But anyways, today we have a great one. Also, I got a lot of complaints about using that tiny little notebook. So I now have the book of scripts. It has a bunch of scripts in it for future video ideas. Maybe eventually, if we get big enough, guys, I'll sell it. Who knows? But today we have a very interesting topic for me because I've actually seen one of these personally. For those of you who don't know, there are creatures called shadow figures. They are humanoid like shadows, entities that roam around and pretty much just scare people. They aren't really that bad, nothing too serious. But today, we're talking about Shadow People's big brother, otherwise known as the Hat Man. So, what the Hat Man is pretty much the, like I said, the big brother of the Shadow People. And they, just like the little brother of this metaphor, they are typically quite tall, shadowy, but here's where they differ. They actually wear a pitch black trench coat, a wide brimmed farmer's hat, and are very, very much so more detailed in the face. Some even being described as having a glowing smile, if you would. Like whenever they smile, you can see all their teeth glowing, and it is very disturbing. I know whenever I saw one, I was in New Orleans. Horrifying. But you know, they differ from the typical shadow people because of the hat and their more defined features, and the fact that they, unlike shadow people, uh, they the Hat Man is actually known to cause sleep paralysis, which a lot of people don't realize that a lot of spirits can do. Um, a lot of people say that he is bad because of the fact that he does. Shadow people just kind of appear and disappear all willy nilly because they can't really help it. Whereas the Hat Man intentionally chooses his targets. They intentionally go after people. Um, but taking a very, very brief break from that, today's sponsor, yet again, Dixie Farm and Feed Store. Your one stop shop for everything farming, ranching needs, and much more. And everything can be found very easily. Um, Dixieland Fireworks Stand is there during the appropriate seasons. Definitely go check them out. You might actually get to come meet me. Fingers crossed that I can get that nailed down. But I buy all my farming equipment from there. I buy all my gardening equipment from there. As you can see back there, I have a nice little little garden going on back there because of the fact that I like growing my own vegetables. Um, and customer service, as usual, like I have said many times before, Can't be beat. They are second to none for customer service. I went in there just because I needed a couple of 5-gallon buckets. They got me in, out, asked me how my day was, had a whole conversation. 5 minutes, in and out, done. Customer service, absolutely stellar. I highly recommend them. You can find them at 21330 Highway 603 in the Kiln, Mississippi, and that area code is 39556. Again, that's 21330 Highway 603, Kiln, Mississippi, 39556. You can also go to their website at DixielandHomeandFarm.com. Dixieland, thank you for being a sponsor yet again. And let's get right back into it. All right, so I have already mentioned the fact that they can cause sleep paralysis. That's a no-brainer. They typically appear around people who are sleeping and are suffering from sleep insomnia. They actually really enjoy targeting people with sleep insomnia because of the fact that they are able to keep them awake even more by scaring them. Now, that being said, they are also known to cause hydrogenic hallucinations, meaning that it feels extremely real. It feels borderline exactly. You can't tell the difference. And then they also cause a lot of, neurons and synapses, and also a lot of dopamine, serotonin, chemicals like that in your brain to fire off, causing you to stay awake even more. But because of the fact that it causes so much fear, you will have all this adrenaline and serotonin and dopamine running through your body, but you cannot move out of fear. Meaning that you will start to convulse due to it. That actually is like a recorded case that I read about. A lady encountered one. You can barely see it on camera, but the lady opens her eyes, sees it, and then about 5 minutes later, because it's time lapsed, you actually see her start to convulse while this entity is just staring at her. And it is astonishing. What else? They actually, for those of you who don't know, they're similar in nature to night hags, Baba Yaga, jinns. That's DJINNS, or even demons, which, what spirit isn't at this point? Am I right? And probably the most interesting thing about them, they are actually said to possibly be interdimensional creatures. That you heard me correctly, all you occult and paranormal fanatics out there. These creatures could actually be from what the quote-unquote real reality is, and we are just being able to glimpse into a fraction of what their reality is like. And if that's the case, then maybe we need to study this more. Maybe we can actually benefit from studying these further. But there's something else I wanted to say. Oh, yeah, I remember now. Due to some of YouTube's guidelines, I am not at liberty to talk about certain things on here. So, I'm going to be setting up a Patreon to where all of you guys who want to see all that exclusive content that is completely uncut, uncensored, I'm going to make it maybe $5 a month. I will post those videos on there. You'll also get to see the creative process behind these videos. And second bit of news is due to the nature of a lot of the occult and paranormal in America being related to certain time periods that YouTube doesn't like me talking about. I'm actually going to be slightly changing the premise of this podcast from that of the American occult and paranormal to the world's occult and paranormal. So I will be covering a lot more stuff. And guys, again, thank you so much for all the support. Dixieland, thank you guys so much for sponsoring. And last bit of news, your next episode, my new co-host will be here. I'm making sure of it. We are planning this a couple weeks out in advance because since I'm getting to the end of the class that made me start this podcast, I am actually going to be slowing down the upload schedule a bit because I'm getting a summer job. So I'm going to record like maybe once every 2 weeks and post once every 2 weeks. And I just want to keep you guys in the loop on that because I know some of you absolutely love watching these videos. With that being said, guys, whether it's morning, night, or the witching hour, you can always listen to me ramble on about the paranormal. Have a great evening.